Good evening, everyone. This is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Welcome to my Sunday share. Just a few things before I get started. My hostess code for the month of January. Make sure you use this when you check out through my online store. And I wanted to show you, I've been working on my paper pumpkin kit for January. Aren't these pillow boxes adorable? So this is the kit that we got this month. And I'm working on alternative projects, of course, like I do each month. So everybody that's subscribed with me will get a special newsletter with directions on alternative projects. So make sure you sign up by February 10th for the February kit. And that's going to be a nice kit too. We've been given the hint that there's going to be succulents in our kit, so I can't wait to see what they come up with. Let me see. For tonight, I'm doing a Sunday share, and I'm actually using the Hello Cupcake stamp set. Now, this is a free stamp set that you can earn during Sale-A-Bration for a $50 order. This is also, I have a spare one that I am using for my door prize for the month of January. So anyone that places an order will have their name entered into my drawing. Hi everyone, I can see everybody coming on. Welcome. Now also tonight I'm using the new rectangle stitch dies. Look at all the dies that we get in this set. Isn't this wonderful? I'm actually using these dies on all 3 cards tonight. And let me show you what we're making. These are projects that were sent to us because we are demonstrators from Stampin' Up. I'm making all 3 of these. I'm going to adjust this one a little bit and this one, so you'll see as we go along here which ones I'm doing. So, and I'm going to go in order, so I'm going to do this one first. So this is the way I made my card. As you can see, they just had a plain white layer there. I wanted to incorporate the rectangle dies on mine, so I did it a little bit differently. And then I'll show you how to do this banner that's on the front also. We're using the sequins tonight, the iridescent sequins. This is Coastal Cabana, 11 inches by 4 1/4, scored at 5.5. Don't forget to share my video as you're watching. You may have some friends that would love to see this demonstration tonight, so the earlier you show it, the earlier they can get on. For ink colors, I'm using Berry Burst, Coastal Cabana, Early Espresso, and Powder Pink. I'm going to start out with Coastal Cabana, and I'm using the little sprinkle image, and what I'm going to do is go diagonally across from the top right to the bottom left. And this is tone on tone stamping. We're doing Coastal Cabana ink on Coastal Cabana cardstock. So there's my little diagonal. Now I'm going to bring in the white that was cut with the rectangle stitch dies. This one measures 3.5 by 2 1/4. I'm going to do the base of the cupcake with Early Espresso ink. Nope, that's a little too far over. I was looking over to the right and I wasn't paying attention. Let me try that again. Now a little tidbit of information on this cupcake. If I were to stamp the frosting part right on the cupcake, it would be too short to add the banner. So because you can't see what's under the banner, and this is, I can't remember, powder pink, The frosting portion of the image is actually going to go a little bit higher. It looks funny right now, but we're going to cover that with the banner. Next is the sprinkles. And let me clean off my stamp. This time I'm using Berry Burst. There's my sprinkles. And then we've got the little, I don't know, little toothpick, decorative toothpick for the top. And we're going to glue these in place, this layer in place with dimensionals. These cards are all quite easy to replicate. You guys, if you guys decide to make them, they're really easy. Now I'm going to glue this about 1/2 inch from the top and the right-hand side. Next up is the sentiment, which says sprinkled with love. Now this piece is 1 inch by 5 inches. I'm going to stamp directly in the center. And then I'm going to show you how I did the raised banner. Let me just move my ink pad so I don't make a mess. Now what I did is I didn't measure. I'm going to score as close to each side of the banner as I can. And then I'm going to score again 1/4 inch further. So you've got 2 score lines there, 1/4 inch apart. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And then we fold these opposite to each other. Let me bring the card back in so you can see it. Next, I'm going to snip. So even though this is 5 inches long, I'm actually snipping a lot of it off. I left a lot of wiggle room there. Okay, so there's my banner. So you can see that it's going to be raised. And what I did to keep it raised, I added a dimensional close to the score line on each side. Remove the backing and then press it in place, and that's going to hold it. And then I added another dimensional in the center. Now I'm going to bring my card back in and press this in place. And there's the raised banner. I hope you can see that. Isn't that cute? Now the next step is to add a whole bunch of sequins. Now on the sample that I have, there's only a few there, and I wanted to really add the blank, so I added quite a few. Let me start out with the top. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool. So how many of you guys have purchased this tool? I just love it. It's so perfect for adding sequins. Now let me take the lid off. I've got 2 here. I'm trying to separate these. This was a much needed tool. Okay, there's my first 3. This will be the longest part of the card. I'm just trying to spread out the color here so I have a little bit of each color. Let's see. Oh, I like this bright one. The big sequins are really easy to put in place. It's the littler ones that are a little bit fussier. They kind of tend to stick to the fingers. Let's see, we got 2 more. I'm trying to see if I can find a blue one in this mix. There's the blue one. Okay, get off me. It's either glue or static. They're just sticking right to me. Okay, so that's card number 1. Let me go ahead and put these sequins away because I have a feeling that they would be all over the place if I didn't. Okay. Okay, so that's card number 1. Pretty easy. Now let me move on to card number 2, which would be the Highland Heather card. This is really cute. I'm doing this one exactly like the photo. So you can see that I've done one here. It's got a square cut out with vellum. So this one is Highland Heather, same measurements, 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. The next 2 layers are cut with the rectangle stitch dies. Highland Heather again, 4 3/4 by 3 3/8, and the vellum is 3 1/2 by 2 1/4. So how we're going to start this card out is with Gorgeous Grape ink. And I'm using the Celebrate Your Day image. And we're just going to fill up the whole background. I'm going to go off on the side on some and then off on the top. Most of them are going to be covered anyway. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do there. Next is the vellum. And I'm actually going to glue the vellum in place with mini glue dots. I know that the center is going to be covered with the cupcakes. So that's where I'm going to add my glue dots so that they won't peek through. Okay, and this is going to be centered. Now I've gone ahead and cut out a few of my, the little frosting, and I've got 2 more here I've got to do. I didn't want you to have to watch me cut everything out. So this one, I should bring in my ink colors. We've got Highland Heather with this one. Let's see, Calypso Coral for this one. Poppy Parade is for the little toothpick heart. And then we've got Coastal Cabana and Soft Suede. Let me see, I gotta find. Okay, here is the base for my cupcake. And that's going to be Soft Suede. And then Coastal Cabana for the triple layer of the frosting. Okay, so now I just have to cut these out. They're pretty quick to cut out. I just didn't want you to have to watch me do all 4. So that's why I did some ahead of time. And I'm leaving about 1/8 inch of white around the edges. Okay, there's that one. Next is the cupcake base. Now I'm not going to fussy cut around all of that. It's going to be covered with the frosting anyway. Okay, now let me go ahead and stamp the sentiment, Celebrate Your Day. And that's with the Gorgeous Grape ink. So now all we have left to do is to assemble everything. So let me bring in the card base. So we got lots of Stampin' Dimensionals on this card. So this is layer number 2. So you can see how the glue dots are peeking through. You always have to be careful with vellum, but because I am placing all of the cupcake elements, those glue dots won't show. So as long as you plan ahead on how you're going to glue all of your elements, it usually works out okay. Okay, first I'm going to start out with the cupcake base. It might not come out. I'm just going to pick whichever one's in order here. So let's go with the Calypso Coral this time. This is going to be totally different. This one is the Coastal Cabana and Highland Heather. So you can see the glue dots are all gone. You can't see them. We've got our little toothpick. And for the sentiment, I'm just adding a stamping dimensional on the right-hand side, glue on the left, and that's going to go right here. Okay, so there's card number 2, and you can see the ink, the frosting is in a different order, and it looks cool anyway. So that's card number 2. Now card number 3, I switched this one up a little bit because I wanted this card to be the same size as my other 2. So on this one, I'm using Bermuda Bay, Lemon Lime Twist, Stays On. And some of you saw my post earlier. I had a toothbrush and somebody asked me why I was using a toothbrush. And I'm going to show you why once I'm done my card. So for this card, we're using So Saffron, 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5.5. And this is the larger variation of the smaller card that they had here. I made it the same size as the other 2. Now, because I'm stamping on vellum, I'm going to do the sentiment first, only so I can let it dry. And that has the Sweet Wishes sentiment on it. Let me put this on yellow so I can see where I'm stamping. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside so it'll dry while I'm creating the rest of the card. It does take a little bit longer only because it's vellum. My next layer is again with the rectangle stitch dies. This one is 4 3/4 by 3 3/8. Another one with Whisper White, 3.5 by 2 1/4. So some of these are repeated as far as the sizes. Let me glue the So Saffron. So this is 2 layers of So Saffron. And then this designer paper is from the Botanical Butterfly. And what I did is I tore the ends. Going to glue that right here. So that gives you the torn look. And on the card itself, they actually used washi tape, and I didn't have the washi tape. I'm not a big washi tape person, so that's why I substituted with the designer paper. Okay, now let's bring out, let me just clean off my stamps. So the frosting on this one is going to be lemon lime twist. And then the cupcake base is going to be Bermuda Bay. And that's going to go directly on the stitched rectangle. So this one is pretty easy too. Okay, I got to fussy cut one more time. And don't forget, when you're sharing, I'm also going to draw a name for winner for all 3 cards tomorrow morning. Anybody that shared my video. Now I want to explain one thing about this stamp set, if I can find it. Let me see right here. So this stamp, there's a little image right here, and that's to be used under the frosting. I haven't used it yet, but I saw a card using it that way, where they had the cupcake base was a little bit lighter, and they added this right below that onto the cupcake portion on the bottom. I have to try that. I haven't tried that one yet. Okay, so here's the frosting. And then I have these cute little candle embellishments. Now these come in gold and silver. They're from the annual catalog. We kind of forgot about them when the holiday catalog came out, so I thought I'd bring them back. They used them on the card also. These are peel and stick. So you just peel off the backing and glue them in place. I think they're so cute. And now my sentiment layers should be dry. I think I need to trim it just a little bit. And what I'm going to do on this one, so that the glue dots don't show through, because I am using glue dots, I'm actually adding the glue dots under the sentiment itself. And you won't even see them. So I'm adding 4 total. And then we're going to slide this under the candle just a tad. And see, the glue dots don't even show when you glue that on. My last step is to add the dimensionals. Oh, Maggie, I agree that the So Saffron, it's a color I haven't been using a lot, and she said that it looks really pretty for this card. It's so soft that it really tones down the Bermuda Bay and the Lemon Lime Twist. Okay, and there's card number 3. So let me bring all the cards back in. So there's the last one I made. This was number 2. And yes, somebody commented, I forgot to add the little sprinkles in the background on this one, but it looks fine anyway without the sprinkles. I don't think I tried to squeeze them in there just to see if I don't want to get them on that first layer. And then here's card number 1. So what do you guys think? Isn't that a cute set to play with? There's so many possibilities, especially with the frosting layer. So I hope you enjoyed my cards. Let me show you what I've got coming up this week. Oh, thanks for all the love, you guys. I can see all the hearts going through. So I got 2 classes coming right up. I have my Friday folds, which I'll be using the Birthday Cheer stamp set and the detailed birthday dies. That'll be Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So if you're working, you can watch it later. And then next Sunday, I'm going to be featuring the Home to Roost Sale-A-Bration stamp set. I'm trying to get all the Sale-A-Bration stamp sets in before the catalog is done. So I hope you guys enjoyed my cards for tonight. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot to tell you why I had a toothbrush. I almost forgot, and I know a few of you guys were anxious. So let me find my stamp. So Stays-On ink is not a good ink to use on your photopolymer stamps. You really need to clean them really well. So that's where my toothbrush comes in. I use the Stays-On cleaner and I scrub them really good. And then I use the toothbrush to really get in there in between all the letters. So I think it was Sandy that was asking me on my post today why I had a toothbrush out. So I keep this toothbrush just to use with my Stays-On. And then after that, I spray it with stamp cleaner. And I get all of the ink off because the Stays-On is not good for photopolymer. Look how clean that came out just by using a toothbrush. So that was my tip for tonight that I almost forgot to show you. So that's it. I'm all done now. Have a good night, everyone, and I'll see you on Friday.